clearly the knowledge that we've gained from the 6-month missions is going to be helpful. But there's a part of that we won't be able to gain, knowledge we won't be able to gain until we actually go further away. For example, a mission that goes from here to Mars, you'll have a very busy time getting the mission started and getting up into orbit and getting your vehicle ready, and then you take off, you head to Mars. That's a very quiet period, if you will, during the mission. And that's going to be the hardest thing for the astronauts. You need to be busy, you need to feel like you're doing something useful. You can't just hang out in a tin can, if you will, and exercise and wait until you get there. So we have to plan those missions in such a way that the people who are participating in them there are gainfully employed. So perhaps while they're traveling to Mars, they do the technical planning of what they're going to do when they get to Mars. Perhaps that's when they do their training for what they're going to do when they get to Mars. And so I think we know enough about living in space to know that you have to give the people who are up there something useful and fulfilling to do. You can't just hang out. The other thing that's going to be different is you won't have the Earth to look out and see. And there are many times when I was living on space station, I would just pause for a second and go look out the window and watch our beautiful planet go by. And so I was still connected to the planet, even though I felt apart from it. And now this psychological factor is going to be very different for people who are going to Mars, especially the moon. You can still see the planet. You're a little more distant, but going all the way across the ocean of space so that the Earth is a teeny tiny little ball is going to be a little bit different. And we'll have some things to learn about how that's going to affect people. And I think if you find ways to keep them in contact with their families and with the Earth, it will mitigate that. But that's a whole nother leap for humankind to do that kind of a journey.